Indiana and OKC meeting in the finals is the final gut punch of one of the most disappointing seasons in NBA history. When Paul George canceled his podcast in the middle of the season, it seemed like we reached an all-time low, but we were wrong. The downward spiral kicked off last summer when the Clippers played hardball. Despite being owned by one of the richest men in the world, they weren't playing games. Ballmer's offer was still generous though. It was 3 years, $150 million, which was almost the same exact extension that Kawhi just signed, but PG wanted a no trade clause and a 4th year. Ballmer wasn't budging, so PG flipped coasts, where Philly had a 4-year max waiting for him. The idea was to form a big three, but PG immediately got hurt and missed the first 5 games of the season. With Embiid also missing time, Philly needed the guy they just paid max money to step up and carry the load offensively, but he looked like a shell of his former self. Look at his game log. He went over 20 points just once in November while averaging a brutal 14-4-5. Fans began questioning his killer instinct. Rumors circled that he and Nurse were on bad terms, but none of that seemed to bother him. He wasn't dropping buckets, but he was dropping a new episode a week. The long-form content flowed on a steady weekly cadence all the way through late February until enough was enough. The Sixers were in the middle of an 8-game losing streak, and Podcast P decided to get serious. He publicly announced a hiatus from the show to focus on, quote, competing for a championship. Of course, Philly did anything but compete. In fact, they did the opposite. They tanked to keep their pick and finished the season a shocking 34 games below 500. Meanwhile, the Clippers were thriving. Without PG, they became real contenders in the West. It seemed like an all-time low, but it wasn't. When the conference finals came to a close, PG's darkest scenario came true. Both Indiana and OKC had built the core of their contenders via the assets they got back from trading him. It was the final gut punch that cemented one of the most disappointing seasons from a max player in NBA history. I'm Fred Michael Smith, and that's my take.